Oh yeah! Cream of the crop! Devil Dog Gaming! Snap into it!
Oh, finally! I've been waiting all this time and they finally did a Spyro Reignited Trilogy! Yes! Oh, I hope this is as good as what they did with Crash Bandicoot. As long as this is what they did with like Crash Bandicoot, there's no way that this game could possibly be bad. Oh, I love it when they do remasters of games like this. Oh, I can't wait to put this in and be magically transported to the world of Spyro once again and relive my childhood. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, yeah. Get in there. Oh, yes. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Time to enter the world of Spyro. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. It's just like what I remembered playing before, but so much better. What to do, where to go. I know. I'm going to explore the world over here. Since it's 3 huge games, I can go and do anything I want. Wow, this is beautiful. Check out the textures on the rock there. That's fantastic. Ow! What the hell is this? I gotta download content. You guys lied. You said the games were on the disc. It's obviously not on the disc. I gotta download it. I can't take it anymore. This is bullcrap. Poor bastard. Tomorrow could have been a brighter day. If you couldn't tell from my opening, I'm still a little bit pissed of this particular game. Spyro the Reignited Trilogy. You see, I originally said I was not going to do a review on this game for very good reasons. But I had a subscriber that was willing to go out of their way to do something that I asked them to do. And in return, I told them I would do a review on this game. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to all the people at Toys for Bob. You can tell they put their heart and soul into this game. But this little rant before my review has to go with the shady business practices of these big budget fucking publishers. It ain't the developers of this game. Toys for Bob did a great job on these 3 games. But it is the publisher, Activision, that this is about. This is a shady business practice and it's bullshit. The game was originally delayed. Now, they said it was to polish the game. But the fact of the matter was, originally, this game was only going to include 1 game on the disc with a digital download code that came with the copy. And the reason for that was very simply put, because they wanted to get all your money. They wanted to curb any used game sales. And the fact of the matter, since this is only a $40 game, they wanted to be cheap. They didn't want to cost more money out of their own pocket to make a 2-disc set to fit all 3 games on the disc. Because you can fit all 3 games on a disc if you have a second disc. And you use it similar like you did in Red Dead Redemption, where the one disc is the data disc and the other disc actually has the games on it. Well, due to this, you only receive 1 game on the disc. It even says at the bottom. It says requires, right there, requires content download. What does that mean? Well, I tried this out. I unplugged my internet connection from my PS4 to test this, and just like I thought, at the very beginning you're greeted with a nice long message that you have to click on in order to even play the game, which is basically saying you can't sue them for the fact that they sold you a game that doesn't have all the games on the disc. It's basically what it is. That's all it is a waiver stating that you can't sue them for it. Now, it also states that down the road, if Activision decides to, they can stop having the update for this. Now, what you got to do is the first game is on the disc, and 1 level from each of the second game and the third game are on this disc. Everything else you have to download. while that isn't necessarily a big deal, because fortunately, you can, like, let's say, I want my buddy to borrow my game. So I can take the game over to his house, and he can actually play all 3 Spyro games. Of course, he has to sit through a download of the second and third game, but in the end, it is better than a download code. But here's the thing, people. Here is the thing. If you buy digital, that's fine. I don't like digital. I like physical copy games. Buy digital, that's fine. But if you pay money for a digital version, then you get what you pay for. But if you're paying hard-earned money for a physical copy of the game and it doesn't have all 3 games on it, even though it says includes 3 games, technically they're right. It doesn't say include 3 full games. So screw you, Activision, you suck, and the only reason why I'm reviewing this game is because Toys for Bob busted their ass, and they deserve to get a review on the hard work they did, not you as a sucky-ass publisher. Okay, sorry everybody, I had to get that out. Now I feel better. Now on to the non-biased review of the actual games. Are they good? Are they great? Should they have been made at all? Well, watch my review, my non-biased review of Spyro 1, 2, and 3 to find out. Everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another recommended review from a longtime subscriber. This time I'm reviewing Spyro the Dragon, the Reignited Trilogy. It was published by Activision and developed by Toys for Bob and was just released on November 13th of 2018 for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It is basically remastered versions of all 3 of the Spyro games, built from the ground up using Toys for Bob's patented Spyroscope technology, and it stays true to the original level designs, enemy placements, and item locations of the original 3 games. I mean, it is pretty much damn near identical to the originals, but with much overhauled graphics, different sort of abilities with the view distance, draw in, totally re-recorded voice-acted lines. Tom Kenny reprises his role of Spyro. I believe he was in the 3rd game. He does the voice of all 3 games versions of Spyro this time. If you don't know who Tom Kenny is, he's basically the guy that does the voice for SpongeBob. Now, you also have different sort of options in this game, including the ability to revert back to the classic controls and camera if you choose to, even though I find that the new ones are actually a lot better. Now, the overall game, if you don't know this, is you play as Spyro the Dragon as you glide, jump, and bash and torch enemies as you go through each of these epically large game worlds. Each game has a central premise besides the massive collectathon that they are. The first game has you freeing different dragons from their crystal entombs. Each one is different, unlike the original Spyro game where they just had different voices and were different colors. This time the dragons are actually designed different, which is a really nice little nod, the fact that they took the time to actually design and change each of the dragons. The second game has you going around collecting orbs and keys, and the third game has you collecting dragon eggs. Other than that, you got to remember these games were grind fests. That's how they were designed, but in the end, as long as you know that, you'll have a good time with them. Now, part 2 is where it kind of starts picking up to where it gets more of a Metroidvania style hub world structure. The first game's more linear. The second one has a lot more of a hub world setup. And you also have the ability of Spyro to climb and swim in the second game. And the third game has secondary characters drawn in that you can play as you go through. And each one has their own little puzzles and levels they go through, which kind of actually slows it down and kind of shows the games of just how much of a grind fest they really are. Now, at over 100 different levels, you're definitely going to get your money's worth with it, but I do have to point out a couple problems I have with this game. First of all, despite the fact it looks downright gorgeous, the animations, the new voiceovers, the remastered music is all spot on and fantastic, and you will remember it. It really pull on your heartstrings of just the fact of remembering this like you did in the past. But it does seem to have some slowdown issues. I've had several parts in the game. It's nothing that really destroys the game at all, but it's something that I just have to point out that I did notice. As you move around corners and stuff like that, it will kind of stutter a little bit. And the other main thing I have to point out is the tutorial system. It's really kind of stupid. Now, what I mean by that is you'll go through like a whole level of doing stuff, and then all of a sudden the little pixie fairy lady will show up and she'll tell you, oh, Spyro, if you want to learn how to jump and fly, you press the jump button and you hold it, even though you just did it for the whole damn level before I even told you. And it'll do that a lot. I mean, fortunately not throughout the whole game, and it's not really something that will really ruin the game, but it was quite damn annoying to have the lady show up and tell me something that I already know because I've been doing it for the past 20 damn minutes. So the tutorials were kind of pointless and stupid. I don't know why. Toys for Bob wanted to stay so true to the games. They even have the tutorials in there, which were kind of poorly designed in the first iteration of these games. And they could have done without that. But, in the end, those are minor cons. Now, as for certain pros, your Dragonfly buddy now has arms. Well, that doesn't really seem like that's big of a deal, but if you actually think, instead of having like an arrow icon appear on the map to show you where you're supposed to go, your little Dragonfly buddy will literally point with his arms and say, like, hey, man, go over there, go to this cave or something. And that's actually a fantastic way of actually helping you out and finding where to go, without actually having a big-ass arrow appear on the map on the game world to actually, annoy you. The other thing is the ability that Toys for Bob added a mini-map that you can pull up in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen that will actually show you the basic area that you're in as you're going around. I found that to be actually a big help and actually a wonderful addition to this game. Now, in the end, if you love the original Spyro the Dragon trilogy, you will no doubt love this. It is the same game. Now, if you were expecting any sort of drastic changes to make the game less grindy and a collectathon than the original versions, you are going to be disappointed. Hands down, this is basically the same three games, but they look phenomenal, they sound phenomenal, and they play a hell of a lot better. The camera works a lot better, the animation's way better, and the music, all around, it is a really good remaster. Similar to what they did the last time with the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, here with this game, it's the same thing. This is actually a little bit better, though, because I think Insane Trilogy had a problem with each of the games had different control schemes, and they had the same control scheme for all three games in the remastered version, which actually led to some problems in the first game with some of the levels because they had changed it to momentum-based jumping, and in the first game, the levels were designed not with that in mind. Now, fortunately, in this game, it's not like that. The controls for all three games plays perfect. Spyro, the way he jumps, he glides, the way you control him, his bash move and everything plays perfectly. Honestly, in the end, I found the games themselves to be a fantastic way to actually do a remaster. I can't wait until they do the medieval version. The only thing I do have to say is I am rather disappointed they did not put all three games on the disc that didn't require some sort of download. I mean, you'll have it when you're going through the game and you'll actually have it pop up. If you haven't downloaded it first, you're like, you can't progress unless you download the rest of the game. Other than that, the games are fantastic. They're beautiful. They play great. And in the end, if you're a huge friggin' fan of Spyro the Dragon and you know what you're getting into, go ahead and pick this up. I can't believe I'm saying it. Give Toys for Bob some love. They busted their ass, and it shows with the fact of the love and the care that they put into these three epic games of just how true to the originals they are. And in the end, I can't help but say I enjoy playing all three of these games. They brought back great memories, and in the end, this is a fantastic remaster, and this is the way you should remaster a game. If you haven't played any of the Spyro games, I would say rent it. Don't buy this game if you haven't played the original Spyro the Dragon trilogy, because you might not like the way it's set up in terms of the grindiness of the collectathon, the fact that you can't progress through a certain area until you have so many items to open the gates, or you have to pay Mr. Moneybags a certain amount of money to unlock your buddy. I mean, just keep in mind, if you haven't played the original Spyro trilogy, or you didn't really like it before, you might want to rent this game and hold off on buying it until you play it and see what you're actually getting into, to know what kind of grind fest it is. But if you are a original player like me, who has actually played the original games when they came out, and I know what I was expecting and what I was getting into, you will enjoy this and have a blast from the past, and absolutely love every moment of what Toys for Bob did with this reimagining of the original trilogy. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I want to say thank you for everybody who subscribes to my channel. I want to say thank you for the individual who actually wanted me to review this game and did what he needed to do for me to actually go and get this game. This one's a big shout out for you. I'm not going to say your name because that was part of the deal, but nonetheless, a big shout out to you. And in the end, make sure to hit that bell icon to stay updated whenever I release new videos. Don't worry, in the future I will have new contests in the new year. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.